Hi and welcome, I'm John and this is Unique Wargame Terrain. Guys, welcome back. This is a Let's Build video for everyone that's new. A Let's Build video is I take a model kit and I show you how to put it together. Now there are various reasons for this, to show you how easy some kits are to put together, to help you decide if you want to start a new faction because of, it's easy to put this model together, that model together. If you have problems reading instructions or suffer with dyslexia, this is a visual aid for you. Or even if you're not sure about a particular model, again, this is a visual aid just to help you and everything else. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. So what am I building today? I've got a few things here to build, but I really want to start my Astra Militarum Army. Now some people will say, another army? The aim is to have an army for every faction in 40k, so I can just, do lots of battle reports of different factions, different armies. So I've had this model sitting around for a while, this Sergeant Ripper Jackson. So I'm going to put this guy together today. So before we have a look at the sprue, some people like me showing the stat line for him. Here is her stat line. She's a veteran. So I'm a bolt gun, a les pistol, and a chainsaw and frag grenade, which is lovely. So this is pretty decent, I'd say. Just as an elite choice, not very. The only thing it doesn't have is the points cost here, which is not a big issue. She'll just be a veteran sergeant. That's what it says there. Says what she'll be. So whatever the points are in the Astra Militarum Codex, that's what she'll cost. But this is her unique stat line. Now, this is going to be a very interesting model to paint. There's a lot of skin. But anyway, let's start. Let's have a look. Tools needed as usual. Clippers, most useful part of our hobby. Mold line scraper. Now some people use a hobby knife or a scalpel blade. Yeah, I just prefer that. I have sanding sponge to get into nitty-gritty pieces. It is a plastic kit, so plastic glue, but I do have super glue to hand just in case. As always, just have a look at the kit and see what we can identify straight away. Obviously that's a base part that goes actually on a base. There's a chainsword. There's her head. So legs, body, front and back. That's pistol, bolt gun arm. Pretty straightforward. So the first pieces I'm going to need are going to be the head, which is number 2, and the back, her back, which is number 1. There's a little slot in the back there for the chainsaw to slot onto. So I'm going to snip those off, clean them down, and come back and show you how they go together. Right, so the head just glues into the back there. Okay. There is no, well, it looks like a little nipple bit there at the back there, but it doesn't look like it goes on. As you can see on the shoulder there's a little bit I've missed to clip off, but that's not a big issue because I can sand that down afterwards when it's all dried and ready to go. Now the next part that we need is number 3, which is this piece. So I'm going to snip that off and clean that down, and that will literally just show the front of the this piece. So just go literally in the front of it, straight to the front, nice and easy. So I'm going to clip that off and come back and show you. Right, so literally it's very fiddly, it's very small. Literally that just slots over the top there. Oh, come on, get in there. Let me do this off camera. Right, it is quite fiddly, actually. But that's how it goes in. There is a little circle bit I noticed on the inside, and a little circle bit on the front part that just connects into each other. See, both the shoulder bits need a little snip down, but again, once it's all dry, I'll give it a little sand down with the sanding sponge. Now I did put that onto the base ready because there's no part apart from stuff being added to it. So the next part needed is going to be number 4, which is this part. This actually looks a bit chunkier to deal with, so it's not too bad. But just be aware of the leaf there. You don't want it to snip off as you're cutting it. It doesn't matter if it does, because it's a leaf, it's part of the foliage on the ground. So I'm going to snip that off, clean that down, and come back to you. It's actually this piece and this piece that we need next, but this piece goes in first. So I'm going to snip this off and bring it back, come back to you when it's cleaned down. Right, and this piece, right, there's a little bit at the back of my foot there. Do not snip that off, because that slots into the little slot there. So basically this just goes in there like that. Okay, so it gives you the so you can actually line up the top there, line up the legs. Just a bit of camera angle, I zoomed in a little bit too much, I think. Zoom that a little bit better, make it a little bit easier. Yeah, not too happy with the back of it there, to be honest with you. Yeah, I've got it wrong. It's better. So what I'm going to do is just run a little bit of plastic glue to try and fill as much of the gap as possible. Still not happy with it, but so on the camera here you can see, oh, it looks massive. Bear in mind I've zoomed in, it's not that noticeable really. I'm only really noticing it because I'm looking in the camera as I'm filming. And I'm going to take the other leg off, clean that down. It looks like a bionic leg. I'll take that off and clean that down, and then there'll be our legs on. But I should go on the other side. I'll show you how that goes on. Right, so the leg just clips in there like that. Very easy, very straightforward. So I'm going to glue that on, and then I'll come back to you for the next pieces. The next pieces needed are our 2 arms. So number 6 and number 7. So I'm going to snip those off and clean those down, and come back to you and show you where they go. This is pretty straightforward. There's nothing. This is one arm, but this one has the bolt gun on it. So I'm going to clip them down and come back to you then. What I'm going to do before I glue the arms on, I'm going to take the bolt gun and glue the bolt gun on. Okay, so it literally just, the hand just slots into there. Yeah, so I'm going to clip that off and clean that down and glue that to the arm, because I don't want to try and glue it to the arm when the model's standing upwards. Right, I had to stop that because I can't figure out how the arm goes onto the excuse me. I can't figure out how this goes on properly. It's meant to be, oh, there we go, like that. So I've glued the arm actually onto there, so because I couldn't figure out how to pull it, because it wasn't looking right to me. It looks right now that I've got the, yeah. So that one goes on that side. The other one goes on the other side, which is very, very easy to go on. So let's back some glue in there. And look in the camera all over the place. It's very fiddly arms. There's a little groove in there. There's a little groove in there. It just slots in there. It does. I mean, I'm all the wrong way around. Here's another thing to be careful of. Looking at the bolt gun. When you're snipping the bolt gun off, snip away from the bolt gun so you take a bit of sprue with you. As I snipped it down, it sort of pinched the barrel of the gun. It's not a big issue, but at this stage it looks horrible. But once it's painted up, I won't notice it at all. So there we are so far. Very, very nice. Now the bolt gun really threw me off on how to put it on. I couldn't figure it out. But I said, okay, because in the instructions, they're supposed to do the arms first, and then the bolt gun goes on. That's the reason why, because it is very hard to figure out when you're looking at it in your hands, but as soon as the arm goes on, you can figure out how it goes. So the next thing we need is las pistol, which is number 9 should be, yeah, number 9, this one here, and her chainsword. Now with the chainsaw straight away you can see the sprue joins onto the chainsaw handle, so just be careful. You might want to snip it just below that little bit and then just snip the sprue away afterwards. I'm going to snip those off, clean those down and come back to you because we've only got 3 more parts after that. Right, these should be the easiest parts of this model. So the las pistol, there's a little groove in her leg there. And on the back of the las pistol, without me knocking the camera, there's a little groove. So that just slots. Get my giant fingers on there. Just slots in there. Okay, same with the chainsaw on the back. There's a little groove in there in her back. A bit of glue in there. Chainsaw has a little groove on the back of it. It just slots in there. As with most things, it doesn't want to do it on camera. Remember, I turned the camera off, it was going perfectly. But anyway, it's on. Nice. Las pistol's fallen down. Of course it has. Right, so there's only 3 bits left now for the base. Now it's saying to me this is the next piece, number 12, but this is supposed to go on the base. I believe this goes at the front of her, so I believe it slots in here. Okay, so I'm going to snip it off. I'm going to snip all 3 of them. I'll actually clean them all down and then come back to you and we'll start piecing them together, because I think that goes in first, then she goes onto the base, and then the other bits go around her. So we'll clean it all down, come back to you, see what we are. Well, I haven't glued it, but it goes in something like that. So it's just designed to cover the gap. Okay, so I'm going to glue that on and then glue her to the base. Now she should go on. Something like this. Looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bit of plastic glue along to join, where these join up. Leave that to dry for a minute. Right, so this amazing little piece on the base here, there's the same pattern actually on the base. So this piece goes into the side of her little rock that she's standing on, and this piece, sorry about that in the background, someone's trying to start the car, goes in, this little piece goes into there. So I'm going to glue them on off camera and then come back, because it's still a little bit wet, so I need to leave it to dry. And as you can hear someone in the background messing with the car. See me, guys. Now she is a fantastic miniature, just a little bit fiddly because of my giant hands. She's probably about as fiddly as a Necron warrior, really. Maybe a little bit more, just because the Necron warriors are pretty arms, chest, body, head. But this is a few multiple parts. Hopefully the normal Astra Militarum aren't as bad. This little bit is just slowly falling down, so just sort of stand up a little bit. I'm going to get some pretty pictures now for you guys. I'd give this a difficulty rating of maybe a 4.5, something like that. It's not too difficult, it's just very fiddly. The head and the arms were just hardest to clean because they were just so fiddly and I was so afraid of dropping them. Just beware of the bolt gun muzzle as well, guys. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this video, if it's helped you in any way, please hit the like button for me. Everyone smash that like button. Turn your notifications on, and most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing, helps the channel in such a massive way. And make sure you turn notifications on if you haven't done so already, because then you won't miss anything that I do. So I'll bring down, show you some pretty pictures. Hit the buttons for me, guys. Until next time, take it easy.